Good evening and welcome to the July 11th, 2023 meeting of Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, publishes a legal notice in the Suburban Trends and daily newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me for a pledge of allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all of the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen.
Clerk will please call the roll.
Mr. Dracy?
Present.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Hurd?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here.
Mayor Cole?
Here. Next on the agenda is presentations, and we have Newbridge Services with us tonight for a presentation. So,
All right.
please come to the microphone.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Borden.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for inviting us. We just wanted to make sure that we touched base with all of you about who Newbridge Services is, as we've been here in the community for over 60 years, but we've grown and evolved and changed quite a bit, and we are getting ready to fix up a couple of buildings to allow us to put our headquarters right down the street. And we're so happy to be back in that area. That's actually where I started. My office was at 21 Evans. So Newbridge, our mission is to help people find the balance that they need to be able to live a life that they're suited to and that they feel good about. So bringing balance to people's lives through housing, counseling, and education. And we do that through a number of different kinds of programs. But the very first one we started with was right here, and it was a counseling program. And it really got us started, looking at the community, looking at what the community was saying, and some members of the community getting together to pull together their own resources to get something started. Debbie, why don't you come up and talk a little bit? Debbie is the board president, and she is a longtime resident of this community and is related to one of our founders. So we were very happy to be able to do this year to honor our founders.
So, for those of you that don't know me, so my maiden name was Debbie Ryan, my married name is King. George and I have lived in this town. I've lived in the town for my entire life. I grew up on Woodland Court, and now my husband and I live on Post Road. So this community and all the people in it are very dear to me. But Newbridge is very dear to me. My father, James Ryan, was one of the 5 founders. And this year we honored our founders, and thank you very much for the support in honoring with the resolution and proclamation and that Melissa presented, but it was fabulous. And it was, you know, we were founded by Reverend Donna Atwood from the First Reformed Church, Dr. Kurt Manroad, who actually delivered me at the original Chilton and was our family physician for years, and Jane Kelly, a local community member and leader, and also by Judge Herbert Irwin, and then my father. So I am happy to be part of the organization, really helping people to, as Michelle said, you know, to bring balance to their lives through all the great things that Newbridge does. So it's really a fabulous organization, and we really support up to 8,000 people a year of all ages, from children all the way up to our senior program, SAIL, that helps seniors who want to stay in their homes, and whether they need to help with medication or whatever it is. And then David Moore is here because he is our chief of our housing and real estate division. And as Michelle said, we are getting ready to open our campus right down on the turnpike. You know, we've always had the housing on Evans Place, and as Michelle said, she started out That was where we had some offices for quite many years. So we are moving our administrative offices from down on 7 Industrial Road up to the buildings on the corner of the Turnpike and Evans Place. Very, very exciting. And, you know, I know you see the big signs that we put up, and Dave was very nice and took some pictures in front of there with us. But it's a really fabulous organization, and we do lots of things to fundraise. One of them was our gala that Melissa, thank you, was president. And Dave, I know you were, you had some other very important things to be doing that night. But we do have upcoming, we have a golf outing that's coming up on October 2nd at the Knoll. We are returning to the Knoll. We've been at Preakness for a couple of years, and the Knoll has just renovated the whole interior. And so October 2nd, I have information that I can leave for you, for whoever is interested in, you know, trying to help us with one of our fundraising events. But it's October 2nd, starts with brunch at 11 o'clock and goes until 7:30 at night. And really a fun day, and a great way to really help Newbridge, you know, support our organization and all of our clients and the people that we serve. Michelle?
Yeah, I also just really wanted to thank you for your support. Our being able to celebrate our 60th anniversary this year and honor our founders really added a wonderful element to the gala that we had. It just felt so good. The founders' families were so honored. They felt so blessed that they were able to get this kind of attention for what their family members had done. And a couple of them are probably going to be joining us in other kinds of events. So one of the things that we do have to spend a lot of time doing is fundraising. Many of our programs are grant funded. Some of them are funded through our foundation. And then everywhere in the middle. So if it's not covered by the grant, we go out and get some more wherever we can. One of the things that we're doing this year here in this area is Chilton has partnered with us to be able to provide mental health first aid training to our first responders right here in town. We have something scheduled, I think, already for October, where we'll have a group, I'm hoping, of about 20 people. And our educator is actually getting the certification she needs to be able to offer them continuing ed units for their certifications and their licenses. So we want it to be a really successful event and be able to do that again, because there are new people coming into the field all the time, and there's so much need for mental health intervention on all levels. Mental health first aid is actually something to be shared with members of the community so that they actually have an idea of where their resources are if they should come across somebody in a mental health crisis. So we want to get those kinds of programs back in the community. It's nice to not be COVID, you know, confined, to be able to be face-to-face with everybody. I wanted Dave to be here also to talk a little bit about what we are doing and where we are when it comes to these 2 buildings on the Turnpike that we're going to turn into our home again. Because we were born here, we grew up here, and we want to remain a good, vital part of this community.
Is it 2 buildings, Dave, or is it actually 3?
It's 2. We just purchased 620 and 630 Newark Pompton
Do you
Turnpike.
still own the brick building?
Yes, that's one of our counseling and outpatient.
Okay, yep.
You know, one of the great things about kind of buying the buildings and creating a presence that's permanent, not renting, besides saving money, is that, you know, we can kind of be a more significant presence and contribute more to the town as being homeowners or landowners, if you will. One of the things that is so important to us is that we provide services also for the people who are living in the town, because we have a number of buildings on Evans who really flourish from the support that the case management staff give them. As some of you probably know, we're beginning to work on plans for paving and changing some of the layout of the properties And in doing that, we're actually doing a brick fundraiser, which is predominantly to encourage people to put their own stamp on our property, to let them know that we want to be a part of the community, but let them know they can be part of us as well. We're putting in brick walkways, and we have some brochures here that I'll leave for you. And basically, you know, we want to be a positive impact in the community. We want our presence to be more solidified than it already is, even though we already have several buildings. This will kind of give us a small campus, if you will. And we want you to know that we want to be good partners to the town, and that's what we're about. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Do you have any questions about anything? Two new buildings.
Applause some what you guys
Well,
do.
and I'll tell you something interesting, as I was working on honoring our founders, and I knew that Judge Irwin, one of our founders, his offices was the building on the corner of Evans Place and the Turnpike. But when I talked to his daughter Debbie Berklow, I didn't realize that he started out in the blue building too. So, I mean, when we first started this project of buying the buildings, I said it's like something from heaven is telling us this is the right thing for us to be doing. And I didn't realize that it also involved the blue building too. So it kind of brings us full circle with all of our founders that, we're reconnecting in the community.
Well, I think all of us would just like to say thank you for these 60 years of great service to the township of Pequannock, the residents of Pequannock and the surrounding communities. I know you guys do great work at Newbridge, and I know you'll continue to do great work at Newbridge. So.
And here's to another 60 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're definitely much more visible
That's what we're working
down on the corner there. So.
Yeah, it's a great location, it really
It
is.
is. We really love the location. It's just perfect. And we'll see, I think we have a couple.
There's another one.
We'll see other ways of our being able to get involved with the community as much as the community getting to know us.
Right.
Because we're a really great secret.
And I think you were hidden down on Industrial Road,
Yes.
so it's a
Yes,
much more visible
Spot.
spot
Yes.
on the corner. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes, you'll see me out wandering and, looking to talk to people and find, actually being so much closer to some of our clients, I think is a godsend for me.
Yeah.
I like walking through the programs and talking to not only our clients, but our staff, and it just makes for a much tighter knit community of Newbridge.
Have you thought of doing like a big open house and inviting the
Yeah.
whole community in so
We're
that,
working on that.
yeah.
We're great at cutting ribbons.
Yep.
So, but
Yeah.
like just so everybody finally
Yeah.
sees your doors are open and you're uptown and you're there and you're visible. And they might be like, I was looking for something. I didn't know that's what you guys did. I didn't know that, I'm having problems dealing with my kids. We could all come to you and talk, you can talk us through it, so.
Yeah.
We will be doing that, and we still have one person who is operating out of the building, so we have to wait until we get, his lease is done, and then we can pull him
Gotcha.
in.
But we'll be there.
We-
We will be there. Some of us may be working out of my dining room, but others will be right there in the building.
Good.
Awesome.
When they started.
Good.
But we've also been out and about. We just participated in the Pride Fest. We have also been at the street fairs and whatever, and there's a lot of people that we run into and talk to who didn't realize what we did. and
Right.
what- So we're really working on how can we market ourselves better and get the word out there about us.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming
Thank you.
in.
Thank you.
For giving us the chance to talk with you.
Oh, we love it.
I'll see you around.
Absolutely.
All right, next on the agenda is reports from volunteers. At this time, are there any reports or comments from volunteers serving our community?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Greg, why don't you come up now for this part?
What do you got there, Greg?
Well, I have nothing really new to add since last week, but we did go through the process, since 2 weeks ago. Did go through the process of submitting all the paperwork, did the 200-foot list, and I just wanted to be here in case there was any questions.
Okay. So the one question I have, the
Yeah.
car show, what parking lot is that gonna be in? The parking lot near the tennis courts?
I thought last meeting we agreed that it would be best in the back parking lot by the tennis courts.
Okay, so where is everyone else gonna park?
In the same area where we park for the hoedown.
So in
And
the same area where the car?
yes, along the creek, that area. And the car show won't take up the whole lot. Let's say it'll take up half the lot. We'll use some of the lot for parking, and the rest will be street like it is for the hoedown.
And you're gonna close off the front parking lot? You're gonna have vendors up there?
No, the front parking lot will be open also, but, there's only, what was that, 30 spaces there,
Okay.
I would imagine, is the first aid squad going to this?
They're aware of it. I haven't officially locked them in, but
Okay. If they're gonna go, they'd probably be in that.
They're gonna be
True,
in the
true.
parking lot.
well, they would be in that middle parking lot though, right?
The middle parking lot.
Yeah, it'd be by the parking lot by the pond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I just, I hope it's not crazy parking on the streets, so. Because,
Well, they do it for the vote.
Well, we're gonna find out. Let's see.
yeah, but the
Yeah, but the
hoedown.
hoedown is like
hoedown
5
also-
hours long.
But the hoedown also has parking in the parking lot. All of the parking, or I would, you know how many cars you're gonna have for the car show?
No, I don't.
Are you gonna limit it?
Yes, yes.
So how many are you limiting it to?
I want to limit it to half the lot. I haven't done the exact math on that. I did at one point. There's 120-ish spots back there, 130 maybe,
So you're gonna do about 60 cars?
67.
How many cars were at the car show over at PV Park? Do you remember?
I wasn't there, but I think it was quite a lot.
That was the PBA car show.
Yeah, there was the whole place was.
That was a lot.
Right. How many?
But that is a dedicated car show. I heard it was a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
How many cars did you used to have when you had it at the street fair?
We didn't have a lot. I mean, I wasn't involved at that point. I'm just going back to the last street fair I remember. I would say there was 30 cars there.
Okay. All right, everyone's okay with taking up half the parking lot?
I'm good.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm willing to. I heard he's gonna have some awesome country bands, like Kenny Chesney, Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Just like them, yes.
Oh.
I'll be in Maine that weekend, so,
I'll be in your
I just
backyard.
think it's a long day.
yeah.
That's
It is a
my
long
thought.
day.
Well, you gotta pace yourself.
It's a long day.
Yeah, and I don't think people will really stay for the whole day. Maybe
Yeah.
some will, but it's two separate bands, so yeah,
Let's see what
we'll
happens.
see.
I'm gonna star my phone to Ryan.
Yeah, I don't think the car show is going to be from 12 to 8. Is it?
No, I'm sorry. Yes, I want to limit that to the early 4 hours.
I don't know any car guy is going to stay.
No.
So-
Yes,
so
thanks
the
for
car
So
show-
it's
asking.
like 12 to 4 or
Yes,
something?
yes.
All right.
So the car show's gonna be 12 to 4, then they're gonna leave?
Yeah, they-
I'm not going to force them to leave,
Right.
but it's going to officially be over at that point.
Okay.
Open it.
And your
Open
main
it tomorrow.
band is coming on when?
The main band is the Eagles tribute band in Winslow, and they'll be on from 5 to 8.
So hopefully there'll be a
A mass
car show
exit.
exiting and then people coming for the.
Right.
At least you can open it up, so if
Yeah.
No, they're really
cars
good.
leave, at least you
You
got.
might wanna hang out.
Yeah.
and listen.
Yes.
As long as they don't all leave and come at the same time, you're good.
I think I figured that out.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm good, I'm good
Okay.
too. I think, once that lot is filled, you probably should have a barricade somewhere near the baseball field, so people aren't coming in and just,
Looking for spots in the middle.
Yeah, look at the
yes,
end of
yes.
that road.
Spots that aren't there.
yeah.
And in the
Are you gonna
Back.
have,
drive.
sorry,
That
Go ahead.
back
That
street.
at least they can drive
Yeah.
through.
are you gonna have anybody like
Doing
showing
parking?
parking?
Absolutely, yes. It's
Okay.
one of the main things I have to contend
Okay.
with, yes.
All right.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
All right, hope to see you all
Good
there.
I'll be leaving on the 27th, Thursday
Bump
before.
to
I don't
hear
know
that,
if I'm
but,
back.
we'll take pictures, all right?
All right.
And you thought of everything, right? Garbage pickup. and-
Yes, the same as we did at the town fair, we get those little pop-up, fold-up garbage, yes.
Just like you do for the street fair.
Yes. And the town fair, yes.
Doing any live streaming?
I don't know, maybe.
I'd love to see it. I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm still gonna be down at Myrtle Beach, but.
Maybe we'll talk about that offline. That would be kind of cool.
Big
Yeah.
vacation week.
All right. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks,
Thank
Greg.
you all.
Next item on the agenda is public comment. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period of public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized. Come to the microphone and provide your name for the record.
I see some wonderful new people. Don't you guys want to talk?
I'll talk to you all day, Ryan. Just let me know when you want.
Is your son here just for,
For scouts? That's good, I love that. Do you have any questions about what we do?
Looks like a bunch of nothing, doesn't it?
What do we do?
Yeah, we pay bills.
that's why he's here.
Obviously, you know so far. What he's picked up so far.
We give people hard times about parking and,
All right.
Thank you for coming, and
Yeah.
thank you for being a
Thank you.
scout. I just think the scouts are so important, and the fact that you stuck with it and you're doing this is awesome, so I commend you.
Getting ready for an Eagle Scout project or no?
I'm a little bit.
Have you thought anything about it? Like, what do you think you want to do?
He's like, I just came here, why are you people talking to me?
He just wants us to move along. Like, all right, I gotta
I
go.
think we need another dog park, maybe like a Greenview. This one always seems to be wet lately.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
Same with the range right next to us.
yeah.
All right, at this time, we've reached 30 minutes of public comment. As previously noted, there's another one later in the meeting. Next on the agenda is the manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few quick items to cover in anticipation of potential action later this evening at the meeting. Following significant discussion regarding sewer rates, there was a presentation on July 13th. Subsequently, the council introduced an ordinance on July 27th. That matter has now been scheduled for public hearing and potential adoption. Additionally, for the Route 20,
You said July 13th.
July,
27th.
sorry, I'm in July mode.
That's okay.
June
Just making sure.
13th, and I'm looking at the dates too. June 13th and June 27th, thank you.
That would have been a neat trick, though.
Play it forward. The Route 23 sewer project also is the subject of potential award this evening, which is many years in coming.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
As well as an ordinance which requires which allows for the additional funding that provides for the necessary dollars to make the award of the contract. So after much discussion, much action, much conversation, we finally have the night where award is scheduled. And lastly, we went out to bid for the Greenview Park Pond lining project. Resolution is scheduled for the council's consideration to reject all bids as they all substantially exceeded the allowable budget. With discussing the bids with staff, it appears that maybe there was a little bit of confusion about what was called for. So the specification is going to be rewritten to try to provide more details regarding the soils, as well as a pre-bid meeting where we can meet at the site and go over exactly what is expected of the contractors. So hopefully that will bring the price down, and if not, we'll figure out what to do after that point. That is the next logical step, and we can't award at this rate because we don't have enough.
Were we gonna do, it was gonna be a soil liner, not like an EPM rubber,
No, it's going to be I don't know exactly what it is. It's going to be
like clay and whatever?
no, it's going to be some kind of a composite liner.
We tried
We did the
we
clay
tried the
last
clay, and
time.
the turtles ate through it.
And there were a number of inquiries about what was going to happen with the turtles that are in the pond, and we're going to take care of them.
Move them to
We'll
Greenwood,
volunteer.
move them over to Woodland Lake.
There's,
Yeah.
there's,
We love it over there.
we have a plan to deal with.
There's a lot of them in there.
Unless there's any other questions, that concludes my report.
Any questions for the manager?
No, I was
No,
just gonna
sir.
make a comment, but I think doing that pre-bid meeting at the site will be helpful.
It'll address a lot of questions and allow that exchange, because that's one of the challenges with bidding. It's you try to do the best to describe it, and sometimes people misinterpret.
With a liner in there, will this do skating in the pond?
I don't see why not. There will be fishing.
Well, I know the skate.
Are we gonna make it deeper?
No.
Are we gonna put a wave pool in?
All right, next on the agenda is
See how it
public
goes?
hearing ordinance 2023-11. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2023-11 is an ordinance to amend Chapter 152 of the Code of the Township of Pequannock, Section 15237, entitled Chapter 279 Sewers and amending sewer rental fees.
Are there any comments from council?
Nope.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So
Make-
moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anyone in the audience has any questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public
I'll
hearing?
make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2023-11.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Begrudgingly, yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2023-12. Ms. Marsh?
Ordinance number 2023-12 is a bond ordinance providing a supplemental appropriation of $1,400,000 for the Route 23 sewer project in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $1,400,000 in bonds or notes of the township to finance the cost thereof.
Are there any comments from council?
No.
Yeah, this stinks.
Yes.
Just if we don't do this, we don't do the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to do it, unfortunately.
Just so the folks in the audience know, we borrowed the money in 2017 for this project. Unfortunately, we couldn't get all the easements, and we ended up finally getting the easements, and now the project is $1.4 million more than we thought it was going to be in 2017. Of course, everything has gone up now, so that's the reason for why an additional $1.4 million. This is a $5.7 million project.
Right, and we can't say let's not do it. We have to do it because we
We borrowed the money.
borrowed the money already that's specific to that project.
And we've been paying it back.
We've been paying interest and paying it back ever since. So when we do this, it'll actually start bringing money back into the sewer utility.
And plus, this, the sewering the highway was part of our master plan. We're hoping for redevelopment out on the
Right.
highway with some more tax
They can
revenue.
get sewers in and they can do buildings and get more tax revenue.
So,
And Mayor, the subject of what to do with this and how to move forward has been discussed at numerous council meetings. The township has engaged the chief financial officer, the township's bond counsel, the township's financial advisor, and the township's auditor, and unanimously the recommendation, the best way to monetize the money is to complete the project, which will allow for the greater rents and the collection of assessments. So as challenging as it is to deal with authorizing supplemental funding, in the long run, it is the best use of the funds, and there is no viable alternative.
all right,
Yes.
is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anyone in the audience has any questions or comments on the ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2023-12.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yeah.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. Next on the agenda is introduction of ordinances. Ms. Marsh, please.
Ordinance number 2023-13 is an ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock Water Utility in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $45,000 for financing thereof.
Mr. Brewer, any comments?
This is the typical capital ordinance for the water utility. It doesn't include the authorization of any debt. It is funded through the water utility's rates. Typically, it is acted upon or considered in May, but as the council may be aware, we had a key absence in the staff, and the individual who was steering the ship forgot. So when the operators in the water utility were looking for funds to replace meters and hydrants, they said, "Where's the money?" And we went, "Oh, we need to do the ordinance." So that's why it is an unusual timing this year, but it is common as an annual procedure.
All right. Are there any comments from council?
No.
Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on its first reading?
Motion to introduce.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. Next on the agenda is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with Resolution R 2023-161, approving the designated special event permit application for the Chamber of Commerce Country Rock event. 2023-162, approving the designated special event permit application for the American Legion Post 242 car show. 163, confirming the designated memberships in the Pequannock Township Fire Department. 164, providing the certification of compliance with the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's enforcement guidance on the consideration of arrest and conviction records in employment decisions under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, as required by applicable law and the Municipal Excess Liability Joint Insurance Fund's Employment Practices Liability Program. Anybody want me to explain that?
5 lines, that's a record.
Resolution R 2023-165, canceling unexpended water capital appropriation balances. 166, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2023 budget pursuant to NJSA 48:487. 2023-167, awarding a contract for the Route 23 northbound and southbound sanitary sewer extension project with a total contract amount of $5,699,240.68 in accordance with the bid specifications. 168, rejecting any and all bids for the Greenview Park Pond Lighting Project. 169, acknowledging the extinguishment by foreclosure of affordability controls for 121 Chatfield Drive, which is Block 1101, Lot 9, qualifying C-121. R 2023-170, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. 171, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the July 7th, 2023 bill list and 2018 FEMA elevation escrow list. And R 2023-172, which was added this morning, authorizing professional services agreement between the Township of Pequannock and H2M Architects and Engineers for construction-related engineering services associated with the Route 23 northbound and southbound sanitary sewer extension project.
Good job.
All right, thank you, Ms. Marsh. Are there any comments on the resolutions from council?
I got a couple of questions. On 167, the sewer project, when can he start? How long does it do?
He can start as soon as he gets mobilized, and I think, and I'm going off of memory here, so I apologize, take about a year.
All right, and then on 169, the affordable, does that put us, do we have to add one somewhere? Are we, do we have enough? Do we have enough?
But we're not presently part of an approved affordable housing plan. So
Okay.
the answer is, at this moment, we do have enough. It would be always, it's always good to have more for the future, but this is one that was lost as a result of a foreclosure. No, we don't add one right now.
Okay. Cool.
Any other comments?
Nope.
All right, is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2023-161 through resolution 2023-172. I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Cole?
Yes. All right, next on the agenda is items for discussion, and there are no items listed for discussion. And then after that, reports and notices, and there are no reports and notices. Next on the agenda is reports, council reports and announcements. Councilman Dreesy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I'd like to say happy birthday to this great country of ours. It was a nice fireworks show the other night. I watched it from my back deck. It was very nice. Even heard the music, which was nice. So, I'd like to say congratulations to Anthony for joining the fire department. That's pretty cool. It's stepping up, right? It's very nice. And then also the store commission had their meeting. Not much going on. They're anxious to get into the Martin Berry house. They were talking about different rooms and what they can do over there. So I think that's coming along soon. And then we talked about just the approval to pass the grant on for the train station work. So that was good. Other than that, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Dreesy. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Yeah, just a couple of things. I also wanted to congratulate Anthony Valero on his membership to the fire department as a junior firefighter. And a couple of updates. The Economic Development Committee, they'll be meeting this month on Wednesday, July 26th at 7 p.m. here in the courtroom. The committee right now is focusing on educational packets on new zoning districts and economic development opportunities, and also working on a web page that'll be on the township website where people can get information. The town's flood committee is meeting 2 days from now, this Thursday, July 13th at 7 p.m. here in this office, in this room. And then, I don't know if you all get copied on Jennifer, our flood resilience officer. She puts a report out quarterly. I should really pass that along to everyone. But some of the highlights are the town is working with the Army Corps on 2 projects. One is the watershed master plan, and the other is the evacuation plan for the town in the event of an emergency. They're both kind of in the discovery phase, you know, collecting information and analyzing the project's goals and all that. All this stuff I'm mentioning helps our CRS rating. We're trying to get down to a 4 from a 5, right? We're at a 5 now, I believe it is.
Goals are to be set high, so
Right.
chance exists to get to a 3, we're not sure.
Right. Yeah.
4 is a rarefied air, 3 is extremely rare.
Right.
But yeah.
So, but we're working hard, and having Jennifer is just like unbelievable. So, I mean, she's doing an awesome job. The town and the committee are also working with Tetra Tech on the repetitive loss area analysis. That's like specific to buildings and specific areas that have flooding issues, and trying to generate solutions and understanding the cause of flooding. Morris County Hazard Mitigation Plan, that update is done every 5 years, and they're starting a new cycle on that. So they had their kickoff meeting. Jennifer went to that. And I understand FEMA's target date for public release on the FEMA maps is still August. Is that true, or is that like probably not going to happen? Probably not, right?
August of what year?
Probably not.
Based on our experience, I think target is a good way to say it.
Yeah, it's a target. Yeah, it's a moving target. The 2 things I did want to ask you about: the flood siren that's been put in place now, or not yet?
We were awaiting the delivery of one last piece, and then it was going to be installed.
All right, so I know Jim Benelli was working on that, and the stream gauge is being installed by DPW, correct? Let's see, programs are being developed for public information, flood insurance coverage improvement plan, and floodplain management plan. Home elevation projects, this is the last thing I'll just mention. As you might know, there's a total of 39 home elevation projects that have been completed and 35 that are progressing. So that's a total of 74 that have been funded so far, and they're in the process of developing their next target list. And all this helps the community rating system, which in turn helps the flood insurance premiums and just strengthens all the insurance aspects and all that. What else? Senior meeting, I had a senior citizen advisory meeting that went well, nothing new to report there. Next meeting won't be until October. Also, I want to echo what John said. Thank you to everyone who helped with the fireworks. The feedback I received from everybody is just that they were awesome. So job well done. I want to ask you, how's the sign at Hopper was installed, right? The
Stop sign?
How's that working now? Any
So far, so good.
No? Okay.
Blinking away.
Been up for 2 weeks.
Stop
Sure.
But I figured if there was going to be significant outcry, it would happen.
Right,
Yeah.
so no bad news.
I haven't gotten any complaints.
Good, good.
And I think there is a sensor that it doesn't blink unless there's sound
Correct.
coming.
Correct.
I went through it, I was looking at the one, I was like, oh, it's not blinking, so I guess.
And you forgot to stop.
Yeah,
Who'd you hit?
I stopped first.
But, no, other than that, I don't have much else to report. Just wanted to.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Florence Lynch. Councilman Hurd.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see, open space did not meet. First aid squad did. We are still looking for members. We are always looking for members because you can never have enough people donating their time. Up through July, we're about 100 calls higher than we were last year at this time. June was 111 calls, and it's still about 25% going up to Cedar Crest. And that's all I have. Oktoberfest is in October.
7th.
Yeah, 7th?
Yeah, October 7th.
That's the band
Yeah,
concert.
that's
That's
band.
Oktoberfest.
Actually, it's going to be
Fundraiser
huge.
for the first aid.
First aid squad, yeah, fundraiser for the first aid squad. We've got 3 bands. There's possibly a 4th band, and there's apparently a bunch of vendors. So it's going to be it's going to be the same, but much bigger
It's right
this
back
year.
here.
right back behind
Are you having
town
a car
hall.
show too?
No car shows, but I could add that. Would you like one? That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Russell.
Okay, I do, I'm all over the board with this. Library Basket Bonanza has been
Yeah, 3.5
postponed
minutes.
till September. Congrats to Anthony also. You mentioned the Oktoberfest. Don't forget the hoedown is October 14th and October 21st. There'll be a hazardous waste collection at PV Park. The environmental meets tomorrow at 7:30. Couple of things, I was driving past, and I'm gonna ask everybody, driving past the tennis courts and somebody had a dog on the court while
At
they
the
were
high school.
playing at the high school.
That should be a no-no.
And, you know, just asking people, those were closed for a long time because the Board of Ed wanted them kept nice and people were abusing it. So if you see somebody or you say, I was gonna pull over and then I had to go someplace, just a common thing like, we don't want to ruin a good thing. I know, you're probably like, who would, but they actually had it, they were playing tennis and the dog was tied to the center bar on the side there. It was kind of bizarre, but we want to really make sure that we take care of our assets because we don't want to have to lock them again. You know what they say, one bad apple spoils it for everybody. Another thing I have, we're scheduled to meet on the 13th of November, and that's the Monday before we go to the Municipal Alliance. Municipal Alliance is where all the elected officials from municipalities go. We go for 3 days for networking and classes, and is there any way we can just cancel that Monday meeting?
Oh, no, I think we should keep it.
I'll second that suggestion.
I'm okay with, are we okay with only having one in November?
Yes. Yeah, I don't
Because
think
we
there's
even
anything
talked
to name
about
for it.
possibly going down on Monday.
Right, because this way we can go down Monday and we're not getting there Tuesday, checking in, running to classes, running.
I don't see any operational incentive.
No,
Yeah,
okay,
as long as it doesn't hurt anything that we have to get done here.
okay,
All right, so
good.
what do we have to do? Do we have to vote on it, or is it just?
No, you just have to direct Carol.
Direct Carol.
Carol, kill it.
Carol,
I feel directed.
Done,
Stand directed.
done.
Direct.
Thank you, Carol. You're the best.
I just
Anytime.
want to, congrats to Anthony, if I don't know if I said that, also congrats to Seth Keener, he was a former resident of Pequannock and he played for our Little League. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the White Sox, so that's pretty freaking
Cool.
awesome. He's a good friend of my son's, another friend of his was drafted 14th, so my son's like, I'm gonna be going all over the place to go to ball games. Also, I had a really good idea for economic. I got a call from Mountain Creek, their water park. And what they do, and I think this is such a good idea, and I think we could do it in town, is they asked me for some gift certificates to go there, and they use them for employee incentives, and then they gave me gift certificates to the water park. So they just contact other companies, so like the pizzeria, and it says incentives. So I said if anybody books a private event, they get 2 free passes to go to the water park. So, and it doesn't cost anybody anything because they're just swapping it out, you know?
Cross-promoting.
So yeah, I
That's
think,
the old Action
Well,
Park, right?
ordering.
yeah,
Ordering.
I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah.
You know, like one pizzeria can give another pizzeria a food. Maybe somebody's tired of eating at this one, and you know, just employee incentives. You know, because it's so hard to keep employees. We want to keep them happy. I know I've talked way longer than I normally do.
Yeah, you're over your 3 minutes.
I know. I think I have everything. I think I'm done. Yeah, everything's all over the place in my notes because I'm not very organized.
All right.
And the Newbridge Golf outing on October 2nd. Okay.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Russell. Like everyone said, fireworks were great. Tonight I had the pleasure of doing a wedding ceremony for Shane and Alessandra. Company 2 meeting will be this Thursday. I have a wedding ceremony before the Company 2 meeting this Thursday in town here. Company 1 will be meeting this Friday instead of last Friday because of the fireworks. And that's all I have.
See, that's why you do it short and sweet.
Yeah.
Usually I am. I just don't have a lot this time.
All right, next on the agenda is public comment. If any one of the 4 of you
You have the
wishes to
floor.
say anything, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record.
Come on, Heath. Yell at us.
No one?
You only got 3 minutes, no. All right, seeing none, there are no minutes presented for approval. There are no items listed for closed discussion.
Yes.
There being no further business, Mr. Tracy, is
Motion
there
to
a
close.
motion? All right, is there a second?
Really? You give it to him?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:44. Thank you all for coming.